Let me paint you a picture. It's 1977, and fresh off the success of The Exorcist, William Friedkin decides to film his most daring film to date. I'm talking about 1977's Sorcerer. It's an intense, white-knuckle, thrilling film set in the jungles of South America. You would think that with William Friedkin directing it and Roy Scheider starring in it, this film would have been a huge commercial success. It bombed horribly. Now, decades after it came out, it sort of gained a cult following, and people have come to appreciate it for the masterpiece that it is. In today's episode of Retro Rewind, we're going to talk about the film, what makes it so great, and why it deserves to be called a legitimate 1970s classic. The film starts out with 4 vignettes that seem to be unrelated, and they're all in different languages. Basically, this film is about 4 criminals who commit various deeds who have to hide out in a South American jungle, and they live there in poverty. It's a horrible place to be. Everyone's poor. The whole town depends on an American oil company who was there trying to get oil out of the ground. There is a huge accident and an explosion at the oil field, and everything catches fire. There is no way to put the fire out, so the only course of action is to blow it up. The only way to blow up this oil field is to transport dynamite that's been sitting in a depot for years, 200 plus miles through the jungle. Because the dynamite has been sitting there for such a long time and has begun to decay, it's dripping nitroglycerin, and any sudden movement can cause it to explode, making it extremely volatile. Some people compare this film to Aguirre, The Wrath of God, which is also an absolute classic from Werner Herzog from 1972, which I may cover on this channel. But they both take these sort of beautiful, lush environments of the jungle and throw a bunch of desperate, crazy men into them in harrowing situations and watch as they continue to lose their minds. When I first saw this film, I actually didn't know anything about it. I had come off seeing Thief, which is Michael Mann's first film, which is an absolute classic and covered on this channel right up here. You can watch my full review on that. And the reason I went to Sorcerer after Thief was because of the score. Tangerine Dream does both scores for Thief and Sorcerer. I absolutely love the score for Thief, and I started looking for other films that Tangerine Dream scored. I came across Friedkin. I was going on a Friedkin kick at the time as well. The score that Tangerine Dream does in this is amazing. The electronic score, it's bleak, but it's also tense and exciting at the same time. And that's what this film is, because the score perfectly fits what's going on in the second half of the film. Once they actually get the job and they're starting to fix up these trucks and they're going through the jungle, it becomes one of the most intense, exciting, exhilarating, thrilling films you'll ever see. There are sequences in this film that you will not believe. And that's the other thing that really stuck out to me when I'm watching. I couldn't believe what I was watching because this isn't a modern Hollywood film. This was 1977. So I knew there were no computers and CGI and everything like that. This was filmed on location practically. There's several crazy sequences in the film, but I think the most insane one is a river crossing. So they are in the jungle and they're driving these giant multiple ton trucks filled with dynamite that's leaking nitroglycerin, and they come across a rope bridge swaying in a violent storm across a raging river, and they have to cross it because there's just no way around it. So what you have are these 2 giant trucks crossing a wood and rope bridge through the jungle across a raging river as a thunderstorm is just spraying water everywhere. It is insane. And if you want to read the backstory of how this was filmed, they built all of this with mechanical cranes. They built it with hydraulic presses, water machines, rain machines, and it's all practical. Everything you see on screen actually happened. And Roy Scheider filmed most of it himself, and you're seeing people on a bridge as it's swaying over this river, the truck going through wooden planks, it's swaying back and forth. It's absolutely insane to think that they actually filmed this. I can only imagine the OSHA violations if that agency existed at the time. But yeah, seeing that was absolutely crazy. If you're someone who's a bit younger or haven't seen a lot of films and you have no idea about Sorcerer or many of William Friedkin's films, you should definitely check them out. But you should also look up William Friedkin and read some of his Wikipedia and trivia entrances. This guy was an absolute man. He was a little bit of a bad boy, and he got up to a lot of naughty things. which makes the production of this even more fun to think about. Can you imagine being trapped with a lunatic in a jungle for months on end? I can't. That was not a safe scene to shoot. Many crew members got hurt. Real people got hurt. There were real injuries. And what this scene accomplished is crazy to watch, because if I'm an actor, especially of the scale of Roy Scheider, who was fresh off of Jaws, and I'm doing a scene in this film that is basically risking my life, I may think twice about that. What this film has going for it is an amazing score by Tangerine Dream, insane sequences and practical effects, great cinematography and direction with William Friedkin, and a story that is bleak, nihilistic. Some of those things actually factored against it, because when this was released, it absolutely bombed. 1977 Star Wars came out, and Star Wars basically finished the era of the gritty 70s films. People didn't want to go to watch movies where they came out of it feeling depressed or disappointed or sad. They wanted to watch exciting things like Star Wars. They wanted to be thrilled. They wanted to be entertained. And Star Wars just dominated the summer months that year. And basically, Sorcerer fell victim to it. The title doesn't help either, because when you think of Sorcerer, you think of some kind of wizard or supernatural entity. There's nothing supernatural about this film at all. This is a straight up thriller based on the French film The Wages of Fear, so it has nothing to do with any kind of magic or wizardry. The Sorcerer is just one of the names of the trucks. It has nothing else to do with the plot. I really think they could have come up with a better title and it would have helped a lot. The nihilistic, bleak tone of the film, the name, and just the competition just spell disaster. This is something similar that happened to The Thing in 1982, which is another one of my all-time favorite films. It was a dark, bleak, brutal alien film that was competing with Blade Runner and E.T. And when people saw E.T. and loved it, they didn't then want to go see another alien film that was so dark and depressing. If I had to rate Sorcerer out of 5 stars, I would give it a 4.5. This is one of my favorite films that I've seen in the last 3 to 5 years. It holds up really well. Those films with the practical effects, they hold up well. The film recently got a 4K remaster, I believe, from Criterion, so that would be the definitive way to check it out. But it's also available on streaming, and it's also available to rent on all of the major platforms like Prime, Apple. So until next time, stop scrolling, start watching.